I'm going to get my spark back. Here's the 5 things that I had to do to achieve that. If you ever burnt yourself out while doom scrolling, then you're in good company. I want to give you a little bit of context. What does it actually mean to lose your spark? For me, it meant I literally lost my spark. I lost color in my face. Like right now, obviously, I'm out of that whole... I've been working on myself for the past 2 weeks is what I'm meaning to say. So of course today, like I don't look like my washed out self like I did the last 3 months because what I did worked. I was the palest I've ever been. I was getting worried because people were noticing it. They weren't saying like, oh, are you okay? They were like, oh, you're really pale. And I'm like, yeah, I'm always pale, but not like this. That was one of the first reasons why I realized that I had lost my spark. The second one is what really frustrated me. I didn't have an original thought in my brain. I was consuming so much content that I questioned if I actually knew what my voice online even sounded like anymore. I'm not a creator, I'm a coach. I have to promote myself. I get to do my own stuff. But that means you have to create content. And I was doom scrolling and consuming so much content that I really lost what actually felt good to me. I followed what others were doing and compared myself with that content. And the thoughts that came into my brain were like, oh, you're not doing it as good as everyone else is doing it. Why would anyone even watch this? Who will book you when you do shit content like that? Even though my content was quite frankly really good. I still kept comparing myself. And that threw me for an even bigger loop where I got constant headaches, didn't want to get up in the morning, felt constantly anxious, constantly nervous, and constantly like I was fucking up my life. I felt really empty and pushed myself to create content, pushed myself to do something. And in the meantime, I felt like a bad partner, a bad friend, a bad daughter. What else can you be bad at? Just like add to the pile, and that's how I felt. And I was sad. I was sad all the time. And then the sadness, because I didn't want to feel it, I kept numbing out. So I went on social media and doom scrolled. Because in that moment, it felt good. The algorithm knows me, right? Like the algorithm knows the both of us. You who is watching this right now, you know exactly what your algorithm looks like. But can you remember the video you watched last night at, let's say, 8 p.m.? Probably not. I cannot even remember what video I watched 2 hours ago. I was losing so much valuable lifetime comparing myself, worrying that I'm not good enough, then getting even deeper into that spiral by trying to numb out by doom scrolling. I listened to a podcast episode by Florence Given the other day, and she asked such a brilliant question. What are you pretending not to know right now? If you had asked me that 2 weeks ago, I would have told you I'm pretending not to know that doom scrolling is fucking up my mental health. Because of course I know that. We all know that. We all know that social media is not necessarily the be and end all of a good, healthy mental health relationship with yourself. No, it's not. It's constant comparison, even though we try to convince ourselves that it's all fun and we get inspired. You know what gets me inspired nowadays? Going outside. And I know that sounds fucking lame, but it's true. Going outside, not looking at a screen, because here's the kicker. I learned this the other day. If we keep going like this and having a screen time and like doom scrolling, at the end of our life, we will have more memories of other people and what other people's lives were like through social media than we have our own memories. And that is sad. I don't want that. I don't want to get to the end of my life and have more memories of other people and what they were doing than having made my own memories. I got so sick of my shit that I made a plan. I'm going to get my spark back. And here's the 5 things that I had to do to achieve that. First of all, creativity over consumption. I limited my social media intake to 1 hour a day. Literally, I had the timer on my phone. I set it to 1 hour. And every time I would log onto Instagram, I would press play, go. Basically, I turned on the timer. And so it counted down from 1 hour. And every time I then logged off, I pressed it again. So when this hour was done, I was done with social media. I really wanted to make sure that I went on the platform to create and to upload, but not to consume. Not to look what everyone else was doing left, right, and center. I had to mute certain people, not because I don't like them and I don't like their content, but because I found myself comparing myself to certain people. And I realized that that was literally costing me my spark. Creativity over consumption also means that I allowed myself to create as much as I wanted. And when I say create, I don't just mean social media content. I also meant create in the sense of like, what haven't you created in a long time? For example, this is my way of creating. This is my very first YouTube video. And I was so scared to post it because even recording it, this is probably my third attempt after my phone fell down multiple times. The mic didn't work the first 2 times. And so I was so close to giving up, but I was like, no, this is for me. I'm creating for me. I'm opening myself up to failure. The faster you fail, the faster you can improve it. Another way of creating is becoming like literally creative again. Started writing long ass newsletters again. My newsletters used to be like short, very educational, and every week I would decide on a topic. My newsletter now is basically public diaries, straight brain to page. Whatever comes into my brain that moment is exactly what needs to go out there, and that's what people have been connecting with. So the more I create, the more connected I feel. This is another thing that made me lose my spark, is like I wasn't getting the same connection anymore because I wasn't such a bad place. I wasn't such a all doom and gloom place that I didn't seek out these connections, and then I was complaining about not having connections. So try to create more than you consume and watch your life change. Consuming less social media has made the colors in my life brighter. Literally. On my walk today, I took 4 or 5 minutes just to stare at the sun that came through a tree. And I was just marveling at the colors of the flowers around it. And I was just standing there and just relishing in it. Oh, it makes me happy even thinking about it. Number 2 is slowing down. Probably the thing that I have the most difficulty with. I have so many ideas. I have so much I want to do, I want to achieve, I want to create, I want to experience, that everything seems like an emergency. So I've been actively telling myself to slow down. When I'm noticing that I'm rushing up the stairs, I tell myself, Elena, this is not an emergency. When I find myself journaling and I'm just like running on the page, I tell myself, Elena, this is not an emergency. Do you sometimes notice when you walk and you're walking super fast, your heart rate is like through the roof? I tell myself, Elena, slow down. This is not an emergency. This has changed so much because my nervous system was in constant like fight or flight, constant emergency mode. Oh, I'm running somewhere, so something needs to be wrong. My nervous system did not know what relaxing was. I now start my morning and it will, oh my God, I can already hear myself. This will probably sound like, oh, this is my morning routine. Do this and get your spark back. No. What worked for me is instead of diving straight into work in the morning, I take some time now to sit outside for 5 minutes, just having a tea, or for me, it's some raw cacao, some ceremonial cacao, and doing maybe a little meditation. I have this one meditation that I have been repeating for 2 weeks now, 9 minutes long, and it's just a very nice way for me to start into the day. That's me slowing down. It also means, even though I could tick off my to-do list in probably 2 to 3 hours, doesn't mean that I should do it in those 3 hours. I allow myself now to take breaks. So I took a stroll through the sun, had an audiobook in my ears. I was just walking. And then I came back and now I'm sitting down and I can do this video with more ease because I gave my brain a fucking break. Just ask yourself, where are you rushing things? Are you rushing while eating? Are you doing multiple things at the same time, like eating and watching something on YouTube? Maybe this video even. Stop. Eat first and then continue watching. With the slowing down part comes another very crucial, integral part to getting a spark back. It's doing nothing. I cannot tell you when was the last time that I did nothing. Again, I love, like, I'm here to, I want to experience everything. I have so many ideas, but doing nothing, before I set myself this goal to get my spark back, doing nothing would have looked like staring at a white wall and just letting which helps a lot sometimes, but doing nothing meant doing nothing that felt productive. If it's just lying on my bed, just, maybe having some music on, but just lying there and enjoying yourself, that's also doing nothing. It's not that you need to do nothing all day, but allow yourself little pockets of time to just do fuck all something that is not on your to-do list, that's not in your calendar. Time just goes by faster if we fill it with productivity the whole time. Doing nothing that feels productive to you is actually how you get your ease and your slowing down and your spark back. Another thing that really helped me, which would make it number 4, I believe, is I talk to myself. And even saying this right now, like, yes, I talk to myself. The other day I had to drive 2 hours to an event, and I used that time to just talk to myself about what was not going right, what I felt like. I've talked about my fears. I talked about my dreams, like what I wanted to achieve, and that I was frustrated that it wasn't coming to be. I wish I recorded myself, because there was such good realizations that I had where I found solutions for myself. It's like an audible journal. Basically, you're not writing it down, you're just speaking it out, because the longer you keep it in here, your brain has the freaking talent to just mill over a topic again and again and again. That's why I also don't believe in, I'm going to think my worrying thought through. It's not how it happens. That's not how it works, because your brain is trained to keep you safe. And the more you just think about things instead of getting into action, the safer you are. That's how the brain's logic works. When you speak it out loud, like you're actually putting it out in the world, and it's like putting it on the page. It's like having a friend talk with yourself. And that's how I got my spark back, because I told myself what I was worried about. I told myself how great I think I am and the potential that I have. And can you see that I'm smiling because I'm talking about this? Because yes, sometimes we forget our potential. And by talking to ourselves, we can remind ourselves what brilliant people we are. Not because we do something, but because we are who we are. And last but not least, number 5, how I got my spark back, is listening to my body. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted to do something and your whole body felt like it almost screamed like, no, don't do it, and you still did it? Listen to what your body is telling you. Listen to your body, how it feels when you're doing something that is really good for your mental health, like going outside, going for a walk. How does it feel? Where do you feel it in your body? Who are the people that you feel really good around? The people who feel like a warm hug. What people in your life feel like you could spend time with them doing nothing, feeling energized instead of drained? Take note of those people. And I made a conscious effort to connect with these people more. Some of these people, my people, live in completely different parts of the world. So I had to make an effort to call them. I started writing postcards again. And they didn't know they were coming. And so they were so excited when they arrived, and they sent me pictures of it and messages. And it felt like so much connection. And here's the thing. Losing our spark means we have lost a connection with ourselves. I mended the connection with myself by creating more, consuming less, by slowing down and not seeing everything as a freaking emergency, by doing nothing that is productive, by just doing what I felt like doing, by listening to my body, and by talking to myself out loud, and not just the bad parts, but all my dreams and my wishes. And that's why I'm today. I promised myself to record and to post this video by end of April. Today is hopefully it's not May 1st, but I promised myself that I would record my first YouTube video in April. And I held that promise. This is the YouTube video. But I want to know from you as well, if you felt like you lost your spark. What was something that you did that helped you get out of this constant feeling of everyone's doing better than me? Put it in the comments. Also, follow along on Instagram at Elena Megan. I would love to chat with you there. I'm going to go and actually make myself a delicious matcha at home. That's what I'm going to do now. I see you in the next video. Bye.